obviously I did conservatory. But if you ask me honestly, I am still a student. Doing MSc or PhD or working for UN or working for Government of India or the bank and all that, they are a journey. They are a course of movement over a period of time. Moving from chemistry to banking, from banking to IT, from IT to clean energy, from clean energy to major part of our activities were in Africa. All of you are very fortunate that you are in a country which has very advanced set of students who are knowledgeable in science. Imagine Africa. Hardly 1% of people are linguists. Hardly 1%. And then you have to work for UN projects and you want to implement projects there in clean energy, whether they are related to solar or hydro or they are related to shift from, let's say, diesel to clean energy in terms of gas. The question is, and that's the whole point I'm trying to address here. What was my expectation when I passed out from here? How did I manage it? And how do I expect all of you to manage it? With what goal in mind? What thoughts in mind? So I'll give you just two instances. How many of you are fond of cricket? Not many? Most of you? I got a call from UK. My eldest brother, 85 years old. Yesterday night. Arun Verma, did you see that? That India, 14 years, 35th century. IPL, playing for Rajasthan Royals. I was in a meeting, I didn't know. He is a doctor, 60 years, medical doctor, surgeon. He was feeling proud about it, that a 14-year-old boy from India has created a world record. The second guy after this game, who did Suryavanshi. He has nothing to do with cricket. But IPL, I have been there and having retired recently, had enough time, was able to watch. That element of pride was in him. That's the pride which we want in all of our colleagues. Pride of achievement. Now how do we decide what achievements and how do we start feeling that we are proud of it? So that's where the whole point of expectation management comes. That we need to have expectation from ourselves, from our society, external environment, our internal environment. Try to understand the challenges. My submission is that my entire discussion of say about 45 minutes an hour will have very little to do with chemistry as a subject. But it pertains to all of us as individual people. It will determine your mindset, how you go about carrying your life. And I know many of you feel, I already know what I am going to do. Perhaps I may have a job in chemistry related fields, or someone else feels I may have a job related to biochemistry. So let's see what happens to people. Hopefully it should work. If not, then I'll move forward. I think I'll say it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So this one is next. Oh. Okay. So this is what I've drawn. I won't talk politics. I won't talk religion. So what do you see? And I would submit that someone should keep responding. We don't want people sleeping, and we don't want people not being involved in what we are talking. What do we see there? The line is there, an open canvas. We are saying forces that draw life in different directions. But what do we see there? A set of 7 horses effectively drawing in 7 different directions. At the back of it, you find that symbolizes sun, energy, solar, whatsoever way you want to. But that also energizes us. Let's say we are there. The sun part is us, any one of us. And we are being pulled in 7 different directions. What do we do? At what point do we take a decision? आप लोग इंग्लिश में कंफर्टेबल हैं और हिंदी में ज़्यादा कंफर्टेबल हैं? But I would like to connect rather than कि मैं एक तरफा लेक्चर दूँगा. It has to be two-way. अलग-अलग 7 दिशाओं में और आपको पुल करना है. अब आप कैसे तय करेंगे कि किस दिशा में आपको जाना है या सातों दिशा में जाना है? That boy Suryavanshi, the 14-year, he decided one of them when he was I think 8 years or something, a few years back, and his family, they decided cricket is his forte. That's his strength. So each one of us may not have all the 7 strengths that we see there. Some may be directed in one direction, some may be in another direction. So that is where we say that in our life we get, and I'm talking to people, hopefully all of them are above 18 years, they are majors, they can analyze, that's what we learn here in chemistry, to analyze, to synthesize, to come to conclusions. The 2 things I remember from chemistry, I won't forget ever in life, is what we drink every day is QO, we use it every day, and QED. That's how our professors taught us. Any hypothesis you have, any thought process you have, any theory you have, any assumptions you have, any presumptions you have, unless you reach the point of QED, your assumptions, presumptions, thoughts have very little relevance. What is QED? Anyone? Tell me. What does it mean, QED?
Hence proved.
Proved.
Yeah.
Where does that demonstrate?
But that should come from them. Why? The faculty has it.
वो लोग पढ़ते नहीं, हम लोग ही पढ़ा.
सर नहीं पढ़ते हैं, रिलेट नहीं करते हैं. प्रॉब्लम क्या है? हम जानते हैं, बट हम उस चीज को रिलेट नहीं करते हैं. दूसरा, हमको रिस्पॉन्ड करने में शर्म आती है. हमको लगता है कि ये तो आएंगे, 1 घंटा बात करके चले जाएंगे, उसके बाद हमसे या जो भी बात किया उससे क्या लेते हैं. That should not be the way we handle ourselves. वो हमारा एटीट्यूड नहीं होना चाहिए. Anything and everything we learn uses some skill, but requires substantial determination. How good are you in cooking something for your food? Hopefully, people in hostel will know it. People who are staying with family, they will know it. Some making teas, coffee, something. Everyone. Do you ever relate that to your future? That after 50 years or 40 years, the learning of making chapati is going to be useful for you and will help you. Tell me, anyone? चपाती बनाना, हाँ बोलिए.
सर अगर हम लोगों को चपाती बनानी आती होगी तो जब हमारे पेरेंट्स ओल्ड एज में होंगे तो उनके लिए हम बना के उनको खिला सकते हैं.
Excellent, excellent. Yes. Anyone else? advantage of being able to make chapati. I'll give you the live case. For one project, I was in Ghana, West Africa. I had to stay in a big hotel provided for by the company. It was supposed to be 4 weeks stay. It was first visit for Ghana. I had been going to Nigeria and Tanzania and Kenya and all those countries, but Ghana. Do you know what it is famous for? Ghana? Ladies should know. Famous for gold. Ghana is very famous for gold. Gents should know. Boys should know because it is famous for cocoa. All these coffee beans, cocoa. And we use it. But we don't relate it to where it's coming from. So in that hotel, sir, it's an actual case. Night, for daytime you are working, you are somewhere, so they give you some food. But night, I was supposed to get a good, nice meal, 10:30 in the night, and then go for walk and sleep. There are so many French and this and this and this, but they didn't have any chapati in that hotel. And I had asked for the room service, so there was no option, so I rang them up. Normally soup and something like that, so you have some chapati and something with that. They didn't. So I took some soup, toast, etc. It was all right. Now see, after half an hour when the room was cleared, the chief chef of that restaurant came to my room, knocked and came. It was a lady, 15 years plus. On the phone, it is the reception type of people, service type of people. Chief, she came. Sir, what is this chapati you asked for? Which we don't have. And she was a senior lady. So I explained that this is what we are used to in Asia. Chapati is a very common thing. So it is like this. Sir, can you tell me how it is made? Believe me, in my life, I have never made a chapati. But I had seen my wife or I had seen my mother and I had seen my wife, I was doing it. So it was there in my mind. She says, sir, please, join me in the kitchen and just explain to me and some of my colleagues how chapati is made. I kept telling her, आटा ऐसे गूंदना है, इसके डोई बनाना है, balls, उसके बाद ऐसे उसको ये करना है, and then you know, first they didn't become now. So I helped them. Although I was also doing for the first time, having seen it, then learning. And we made 3, 4, 5 chapatis. First, second, third got burnt, half burnt. कुछ कच्चा रहा, कुछ पक्का रहा. Finally, 4th, 5th, 6th, they were able to do it. That was first night dinner. I was there for 4 weeks. From that day until the 4th week, they served chapati in different ways. Invariably, they would be there. Then they learned how to make paratha and all that. And then I left that place. I got a call from the host. He is head of administration. Sir, where did you take your dinner all these 30 days? I said, in the hotel where I stayed. But they have not billed us. They didn't bill that company for those 30 meals. And the amount would be something like maybe $600, maybe more. Because a normal dinner is $20, $30. So 30 dinners is some $500-600. They didn't bill. I called that lady. And she says, sir, this is a new learning for us. Yours is one meal. From that time, we are able to serve at least 10, 15, 20 people who come here. And because a lot of Asians go there, whether they are from Sri Lanka, they are from India, and they stay there. No one had specifically taught them how to do it. So that's the whole point of learning. Learning helps us in stages which you can't think. सो हम जो इंटरेक्शन कर रहे हैं, हमारी आपसे सिर्फ इतनी सी गुजारिश है कि सोचिए, अपने को उससे रिलेट करिए, एंड डोंट थिंक हाउ इट इज गोइंग टू हेल्प यू टुमारो. It won't. But it will help you maybe after 10 years, 20 years, and may not help you, may help your child. You'll be able to carry your family into those areas. So now see, how do you manage the options? I've given just some for you to understand what we are talking about. Just interpret what is. Certain random designs, some clustered together, some separate, different options, different conflicts, different situations, different modes that you decide upon. What you want to do, how you want to do it, where you want to go. And then, just see what happens. From all those thoughts, you are able to create on a canvas, which was the first thing I talked about. That you get a canvas and you decide what you are painting it with, what colors, what hues, what should be the theme of that canvas, and then finally you are able to make a painting. This painting has been done by a professional guy. I've just taken a picture. Everything that I'm sharing here is in public domain, so there is no copyright. This painting was done by a professional painter who charges roughly 5 lakhs for a painting like this. Guru. This painting was used in one of the films. He is a painter whose paintings are used in those Hindi films and all those things. So this is one of the paintings. Now just interpret the painting. इसको देख के आप बताइए, आप क्या इस पेंटिंग से क्या समझ में आती है? It's worth more than 5 lakhs when it was bought. Today it might be more. Just tell me what do you see there. It's a very simple thing. You are hesitant to share, you are shy to respond, but it's a very simple thing. You are seeing a tree which has decayed partly, part of it here downwards is underground, upward is there, and because there is a decay, you can see all these decays, but you get fresh shoots, future. Underground, if you see, this is a painting, so it shows all these are still live, and this is how our life works. Even after, say, 52, 53 years after completing this university, this department still moves in our head, irrespective of where we are working, because we feel this is our home. The children that we are talking to are part of our family. After 50 years, some of you will be like that, grandparents, and perhaps your children or their children. Now, this is where we are saying that life gives you a canvas. It is for you to decide how you want to paint it, how to take it forward, and do you live for yourself or you live for your next gen or the gen after. Now see the conflict which comes. This is that 71 inheritance. We had celebrated the Golden Jubilee. Some of us were part of the organizing committee. This is how this actual 71 picture I had taken. Those days it used to be. This is our apartment and that was the long shot. There was in Aminabad that electric photo studio. We used to take pictures. I don't know whether it is there or not.
It used
in the
to be
corner,
there.
just opposite the post office. It was a small place. We used to take pictures, go there, develop it, and that silver and all that. Silver days, the silver was there. So they used to teach us how to do it. This is there. This is what we have inherited. This is the root. So in the canvas which painting that I was showing, this is the root. Now how we preserve it, it is for us to decide. And then after that, you come, be a little contemporary and see who were there at that time. Just see. On the right, you have the president of that function was there. In the middle, the chemical department, he was the president. And some of us, we were the organizers. What is binding us? हम सबको ऐसी कौन सी शक्ति है जो साथ लेके चलती है? और ये 72-73 की पिक्चर है. 71-73 we were there, and 72 में ये फंक्शन था. End of 71, early 72. Because some of these are based on the convenience of the chief guest, the president of India. So you can't do exact date. And incidentally, I think if I remember correctly, the department also is 71 was 50 years. But this department is also 1921.
Yes.
Formally, I think department is also.
21.
So that was a dual thing. So this is celebrations in the department. Dr. Tripathi was the vice chancellor, and this is the president of our chemical society, chemical association we used to call it, chemical association. So he was one of my colleagues, he was there and he was the president there. This was the team. Anyone recognize anyone from here? इन लोगों में से किसी को पहचानते हैं आप? सर उनको बोलने दीजिए ना. If you want to come and see, tell me. हाँ? नहीं. इतनी shy. नहीं. See, I tell you. I was there. He was the president. This is Anantagua. He stayed in the department. Premraj.
Premraj, sir.
Premraj. He was throughout in this. He stayed here only. So, yeah. Anita went to America. He also went to Canada. And some of the pictures are not there. DK was there. He went to. The point I'm making is that each one started identical from this department doing their MScs, PhDs and whatnot. But where have they landed? Over a period of time, where have they landed and where are they? I moved on to a bank. Someone moved on to Navy. Someone moved on to US in public service. I think her husband, Shivaranta Guha, became Gursagar. Husband was a big business guy, and then in America, some place, he was mayor of that city, and then became a big guy. Then he stayed here. He was a professor, I think, and
Yeah, he was.
a few years back he
He
retired.
was here last week.
Yeah. That's what I'm coming to. So each one had different way of moving and carrying their life. That's what my whole mission and my whole objective is to tell how, even though we are on the same page, how our life takes us to different things. And how long and how we keep connecting back to this department. So we kept the connections. Dr. Pathak was there, Dr. Chauhan was there, and some of you may not know about him. Younger people may not know, they have retired some years back. But we maintained the connection. So, same you have to do with yourself also. You have to maintain the connection with yourself, your own goals, your own objectives. And then comes the next part of it, which is more relevant, and some of you, I think, they are MSc students.
MSc and PhD both.
MSc and PhD. So they will know. They will know all this. They should at least know.
Yeah.
100 years was a big celebration here, all colors and all that. Unfortunately, because of COVID and all, we had planned to be there, but we couldn't. So that's unfortunate for us. But the association stayed, the memory stayed, and we continued being in touch in some ways. It is lucky that Professor Mishra helped us in reconnecting in a very active way. But this is the subject which I would like to say, that you expand your thinking from beyond only chemistry to, because chemistry is your subject, to expanding your thinking. हम कहते हैं नजरिया अपनी काफी expand करें, think about the next 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, because after 52, 53 years here, I'm standing and talking. Someday, any one of you could be there standing and talking. So how you move that next 50 years is where your perspective and goal should be there. Now see, simple language, I'm not talking chemistry at all. I don't want to, because we have got superior people who can talk and talk better. And we have achieved substantially in life, in chemistry or adjacent subjects. I am not competent to talk about it. Journey of life, yes, I have read that journey of life, so we are sharing. Just see, there are two options. There are many, but I am just giving you two. Tell me, can you interpret? इसको देख के क्या समझ में आती है आपको? There is a very nice, colorful, with shades, flowers and all that, a straight path. Elsewhere, all the colors and hues and all that, but there is no straight. And each one decides which one you like, or a combination. And who am I? I am here. 1973 or 1972. It's a monkey, all of us are monkeys only. It's a child.
Slide has changed.
It has changed. Oh, so that means it is working.
Let's trust, yeah, it's working, sir.
Oh, that's what I was asking. Because then, so see, all of us are monkeys in life. You climb up, you climb down, you move this, you move that. Some gets banana, some don't get it. So these are the options that we get in life. Now, how to go about it? How to choose what we do? This is an essential thing. I understand. Just now I was told there is a seminar going on insurances. And the point was that how does insurance concern the people who are sitting there? My answer, simple answer was that insurance is a compulsory subject. Whether it is health insurance, life insurance, whether you take whole life, you take endowment policy, you take term policy, you take accident policy, all of them must be there with everyone. Even if you get it from your organization where you are working, whether you get from your department, whether you get from your team, or you are working in private sector, wherever you are working, insurance must be there. So it is come as essential. This is safety not for us, safety for our next either family or the children who are there. Then let's see what is there. This is where we are. There is a sea of opportunities. There is a big ocean. Are you ready to swim across? And do you think only chemistry? Within chemistry, you know, one of the best things that I learned, I think I saw it yesterday. When we were students, we used to have three words: physical chemistry, inorganic chemistry, organic chemistry. And within that, certain, but it used to be the large. Yesterday I found in physical chemistry there are 5-6 specializations. Organic there are 8 big specializations, and then there are some specializations. Inorganic also. Many professors, many associate professors, assistant professors who have specialized in various fields in that. So chemistry, which is one word, was divided into 3, and then within 3 each one has different verticals, different specializations, and therefore it's something like 8 plus 8 plus 5, so let's say 21, for example. It may be even more. And then there are some correlated fields. All are options. And this is related to chemistry. Chemistry के अलावा भी बहुत सारी चीजें हैं. Like I went to banking. A friend of mine went to banking, Bank of India, and he was in Singapore. He was in Hong Kong. 20 years in banking, reached the position of general manager, and then in '94 he left and joined as director of finance in a Saudi company, big company related to their Saudi family, and he did very well, made good money, or etc. etc. So the life is not necessarily confined only to chemistry, but even within chemistry there are 20-25 streams and then sub-streams and sub-specializations. So the point I am making is that our opportunities are like an ocean. Now if I go back, it's like this. Umpteen options are there. You have to choose which option आपकी अपनी पसंद आपको कहाँ लेके जाती है. अब थोड़ी सी awkward होती है abstract बात करने में, लोगों को लगता है कि I don't even relate to what is being discussed. So I thought, why not give some which are not abstract. So we come to real people. I still consider myself a student. I keep learning from people who have been there and who continue to be there. What was the greatest thing I learned from Professor Mishra? I have not put his picture. Deliberately I have not put it. I wanted to. I said, no, I should. He will be there. The greatest thing I learned from him was how to take people along. How to maintain continuity in anything which is constructive. How to make that extra effort to reach the objective with which he has started. And not necessarily only confined to his subject or to his department. Beyond that also. We had nothing to do with him. We were not in chemistry at all. But having known him, all of us got encouraged to get associated with the initiatives of the department and be helping out or contributing or supporting or even being part of the whole campus. So this was a small initiative which he took, and crowdfunding, a lot of our seniors and all, they joined in. Similarly, many other things. This whole series itself started and is continuing. This is the 20th discussion that I am involved in. Anyone knows about R.C. Mehta? I have written there. Ramcharan Mehta. He is one of the. He was for a small period of time associated with this here, and he was Vice Chancellor, Delhi and other places, and very renowned person. What is the unique thing about him? And he got the award. So all those are, you can just remember the name and you can log in those Googles and all that, and you get the whole history, all those awards and all that. Uniqueness is that he stayed within chemistry or biochemistry or chemistry related adjacencies and made a name there. Never entered politics, although to become a vice chancellor, a lot of politicians are involved. But directly he was not. Reached, believe me, he did very well, very good. There are many others who did better also, somewhat Padma Shris and all that. Consciously I have avoided those names because it becomes a little controversial whether that is genuine, not genuine, Padma Shri given to whom and what not. So those names are not. Then I am coming to just tell me who is he and what has he done. I have left it blank deliberately because I don't want to write, I don't want to tell you what it is and who it is and what is his achievement. You see the picture, do you recognize the picture? The name is written there. But do you recognize? उनकी कौन सी ऐसी खासियत थी जो आपको याद आती है? And hopefully all of you and those who don't remember him or don't recognize him, it's a task you must complete whenever you go back home today, tomorrow or day after. Must look up and read a few pages about him. He is one of the biggest inspiration in life for anyone, not only in India, anyone in scientific community, anywhere in the world. I have been to MIT, I have been to Harvard, I have been to UK universities. I give lectures at IIT and Jawaharlal Bazar institutes and everywhere. The common thing I have found about him is that by and large, most people know about him, but don't consider him as a politician. They consider him as a scientist, although he was President of India. he had used the word, I am not remember exact phrase, but in one of the discussions he said, what is the expanded version of fail? F-A-I-L. And he says, failure is not negative. And the exact, I don't remember, but the meaning was, failure is first step in life. That A was something. First, A something, attempt in life, or some phrase like that he had used. And believe me, it's such a strong statement coming from him. One of the guys sitting there, he joined Navy, Commodore, and later on he worked with him on the missile program, Anusakshana. He joined there and in Hyderabad, he was working there. Going from chemistry, Navy, and then finally he worked for about 5-6 years with Dr. Kalam. Now, he was a scientist, and as a scientist he reached the point, I think, Vajpayee ji jab Prime Minister the, then he had got him as president. Late 90s, 4 साल 5 साल से Vajpayee ji बने थे Prime Minister. At the time, he had become the president. Non-politician, state scientist, when he died, all that was left at his house was set of 4-5 clothes and a few boxes of books. No other asset at all. Frugal life, absolute frugal life. Exemplary. I am not talking of Arun Jaitley as politician. No. I don't understand politics at all. But I understand the person. You tell me? It is written there. He was a top lawyer in the Supreme Court, earning crores and crores. And then he was brought in by the then Prime Minister, and finally he became the Finance Minister of this central government of India. What was the single most important contribution from Arun Jaitley? He maintained his relations with all parties across, even though he was representing a particular party. But his biggest contribution was, which he learned in his law. What do lawyers do? Lawyer की basic क्या ऐसी काम होती है जो lawyers करते हैं? बताइए, lawyers का काम क्या है? Anyone? Lawyers का काम मालूम है आपको? क्या करते हैं? Let's say Supreme Court lawyer, High Court lawyer क्या करते हैं? They try to settle disputes. They represent one of the two disputing parties, जो भी party होगी, जो भी जिसका dispute होगा, they try to bring them together, or if that doesn't happen, they try to get judgment from the court. So this was the basic reach to the point of Supreme Court. He brought that mindset to his profession as Finance Minister. And what did he achieve? The biggest breakthrough in financial world for this country, the GST. Sir, you perhaps recall, GST is the only national level development which happened after 60-70 years, where every single decision is taken by consensus. All the states, and many of the states are ruled by other parties, not necessarily the same party. But every single decision, so long as Delhi was there, was consensus. Everyone has to come to the same page, same decision. So he worked in, there was divergence from his profession to what he was doing as Finance Minister. But he brought that knowledge to his Finance Ministry also, and was able to bring consensus. 21 decisions were taken over a period of those 4-5 years. He died. He was not well. He died early, unfortunately for us. But one of the biggest things, and this is where we say that even in divergence, irrespective of the basic knowledge that you have, you can put it to good use in at whatsoever point you are in. Let's say this is what we are. आप लोग बताइए क्या है? It's simple.
It's SWOT analysis.
SWOT analysis. आप लोग में से बताएं कोई भी? I can't read that because she knows SWOT analysis, but I don't read SWOT analysis everywhere. बताइए, आप बताएं कोई भी? When you do research, you try to start with some assumption and then try to prove. I think there must be, before you start, there must be a sort of synopsis of what you propose to do. Then you work on that project for a period of time, try to prove, disprove, discard something, and finally you come to a conclusion, and that is the findings of your research. Hopefully I am right. Normally, in a PhD and all research, you come with some assumption and then gradually you try to learn over a period of time and then you try to prove those assumptions. If they are not right, they don't match, somewhere you have gone wrong in some assumption, you discard it and then finally you come to a conclusion. Incidentally, she said that I was in bank and all that. It's a story. I was doing my PhD, submitted the thesis and then for the bank. So that was one part of the learning. But the conclusion of that thesis was not acceptable to the government of India, to the Prime Minister and the political parties. They were very, very upset. And literally, the conditions were such that I had to leave the bank. Not only bank, I had to leave the banking. And very happily I left. The study was 74 banks then, who were the big banks, which is private sector banks, public sector banks, foreign banks and cooperative banks, all put together. 25 years of 74 banks. The entire history, geography and their business was studied. And yes, I got support from the State Bank, I got support from the Reserve Bank and everyone. When Manmohan Singh was governor, I used to know him. State Bank supports its staff. So I got a lot of support, a lot of help also, finally. The objective of that hypothesis was, many of you won't even know, that private sector banks were nationalized in 1969. And then additional set of banks were nationalized in 74, in the early period. Nationalization had happened. So it was supposed to be, the thesis which I was supposed to be working on was the advantages of nationalized banks or advantages of nationalization of banking. And my conclusion was exactly opposite. My findings were that nationalization was a failure, did not meet the objective, and we should give fresh license to private sector banks. We should get private sector banks established. I got my PhD with 2.5 years and some of the Indian power that we refused to come for my OC, that interactions. They refused to come because they were government appointees. So we had a guy coming from Australia and a guy coming from UK and one guy from Jaipur. So those 3, 4, 5 people. Interaction, and I stood up to that conclusion that I had. We had 3 hours of hectic and big heated arguments. But finally my thesis was accepted and I was awarded that PhD. But the side effect was that the submission went to the power that be in the respective government department, because we were part of the State Bank is part of the government of India organization. And they didn't like it, and that was made very clear to me. So the situation so developed that I had to leave. And I had to leave the banking as it is. A lot of my friends and batchmates joined. HDFC Bank was formed, ICICI Bank was formed, and those days UTI Bank, which is called Axis Bank now, they were formed out of those recommendations. I think Narasimha Rao had become the Prime Minister, and I think Manmohan Singh had become the Finance Minister. So they implemented in a different way. Reserve Bank went ahead and all those, and those banks are doing very well. HDFC Bank has become the biggest private sector bank, globally top 10, etc., etc. But I became a persona non grata, not acceptable. I said, fine. So I moved out, went into corporate sector and then MNCs and all that. So the point I'm making is that she read it, SWOT analysis, SWOT. SWOT. She read it like that. But I can't read it. I read SOTW. If I go like that, or if I go like that, SWTO. Here I read it WTSO or WTOS. Nowhere it says SWOT analysis. But there are dimensions too. There is the straightforward SWOT analysis. There is with some weightages, with some red and green marks, and this is a size differential. Which one is where we fit in? Majority of our members here would be reading it as SWOT analysis. You can read about it. What is SWOT analysis and how it is done, etc. It's a huge thing. The question is, you don't have to get there. Now, these are red. Weakness and threats. Some of us think that weaknesses and threats are the ones which help us take a call. So we ignore the strengths and the opportunities. That boy 14 years who did his century, 35 balls and in cricket and became the first guy in India and the second best in the world, etc. He did not get covered down by the threats when he was bought in IPL for 1 crore, 14 years, just 14 years, 1 crore. His family, no one would have ever imagined that boy who is in 8th, 9th standard type would get bought over by the Rahul Dravid's team, that Rajasthan Royals, for 1 crore. People made fun of it. But Rahul, being Rahul, he knew what. So people asked, why is this, that, he is a kid, he is a baby, he is this, he is that. People made fun of it. Rahul said, just one phrase, wait and watch. First match this boy played, first ball he hit a 6. You won't believe, the opponent team also applauded it. A 14-year guy playing the best bowlers, hitting for a 6. And this was the third match where he hit a century. What he did? He found that the opportunities are disproportionately higher. So he focused on his strength and the opportunities. He did not ignore the weaknesses and the threats. Because he's playing, it's a team sport. And he learned something in, I think, Muzaffarpur and something in Patna, so 3, 4, 5 years of all that. Finally, he got picked up by that Rajasthan Royal team. And then, so he made the best of the opportunity out of the strength that he had. And what was the strength? A big hitter, a fearless guy. Some of you will know that Sehwag style. In that 135 balls, he had 11 sixes. I think some 92 or 96 runs out of 6s and 4s only.
94, 7, 4.
Just like that. Just imagine, 14-year child, and what the people who are bowling to him, they have been playing for 14 years, 15 years, 20 years. They are masters in their craft. Who get out people like that Sharma, Mumbai, that Sharma,
Sandeep Sharma.
the Mumbai ex-captain,
Rohit Sharma.
Rohit Sharma, or that Delhi ex-captain, that Kohli, those type of stalwarts, those bowlers, get them out. And here is a boy who makes 90-95 runs out of 4 and 6 only 35 balls. So what he did, he found that the opportunities are there, IPL, someone saw his strength, bought him for 1 crore, and what will he get next year? Already a bid is going on next year, shift him from Rajasthan Royals. This boy next year will be picked up for 10 crores or 15 crores or even 20 crores. थोड़ी सी ठंडी क्लास नहीं कर रही है, क्रिकेट में किसी को कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, केमिस्ट्री में इतना ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट है, हाँ? नहीं। भाई, give examples of cricket family because it is a non-controversial. young लोगों को समझ में आती है, even girls I have seen them, they go out, they participate, जाते हैं वहाँ पे इसलिए देते हैं, किसी दूसरे का एग्जाम्पल देना थोड़ा सा सब्जेक्टिव हो जाता है. Another cricketer is there, the guy who met with a major accident, he was about to die. जो अभी पंच विकेट कीपर है जो ऋषभ पंत. Imagine a guy driving Mercedes, enthusiast, and he met with a major accident and everyone, even the doctors had given up. He comes back, gets bought over for 26 crores an award, becomes a captain of some team, although personally he is not doing much. Score अच्छा नहीं है, ठीक है, that happens. But from that 0 to 26 crores, he recovered out of his own willpower. Family, friends, they supported, but it was his effort which he also saw an opportunity, and someone saw that he still had that strength, and therefore he moved. I think we can mind it 10 minutes. Just see some of the things. I'm not talking too much about what is internal and external because a lot of us have that habit of that I'll write it down or I take a picture and then I'll try to understand later or I'll try to read it later or etc. etc. So then it becomes monologue. एक तरफा हो जाता है. But the fact is that when you do your own self-actualization, when you internalize and try to understand, then you find that there are certain things which you can master yourself, you have to decide yourself, and there are certain things which are examples for you to understand. So just to illustrate any word that you want to tell, anything, then I'll talk about it. Otherwise I'll go to the next slide. Anything. On this. Many words are there: realistic expectations, adaptability, transparent communication, regular updates, flexibility, sustainable growth, etc. We keep saying sustainable growth because we don't want anyone to keep growing for a few years and after that getting on a decline. We want it to be a long-term sustainable growth which stays as relevant after 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. When we were studying, carbon credit was not, the world was not discovered. But last so many years, carbon credit has become our everyday word. The climate change, all the countries having decided this is what it should be, the temperatures should not go beyond 1.5 degrees, etc., etc. So those things came up subsequently. We all know solar, but there was no solar power concept 50 years back or 20 years back. It has come in India. It has come in, I think 2008. This is the first time. And then thereafter it became a solar mission, and it's India was there for 2 years only. I'm not continuing because it has changed. Now that Jawaharlal National Solar Mission is, that group is disbanded when Modi ji came. They have a separate International Solar Alliance, where India is the founding member and the chairperson. and that has expanded into a very global. So there is a separate global footprint for solar. Those days we had planned 20 megawatts, 20 gigawatts of solar. Our new Prime Minister comes in 14 and he says, what is 20? Nothing. So his mission was, it should be 500 gigawatts. 25 times more. And successfully they are doing it. And that is up to 30, and they will be able to surpass it. From nowhere, today India has become the biggest solar power user and supplier. Other than that, there are others. So, the point I am making here is that these are all what is up to us to try to understand, adapt. But the same thing, how does corporate manage it? Just to give you an example, expectation management is done by Apple, the iPhone and the iPads and the MacBooks and all that. How do they do it? They set the expectations first before they introduce the product. So each element of that product is first advertised, promoted, talked about, and some of those samples are given, product samples are given to the critics to dismantle it, to study it, to keep giving feedbacks. So it's a whole 12 months of testing and rigmarole and developments and all that. How many of you can guess how many chemists are working with that company? If I ask anyone, do you aspire to go and work for Apple while working in chemistry subjects? Can you give some estimate of how many people? Anyone? Chemists, actual chemists with PhDs and all that, organochemists and those, thousands of them. Thousands and thousands are working. And a large part is out of India. I mean, people who have Indian roots, they are in various. And what are they doing? Those chemists. They go to the minutest detail. Let's say, to give an example, if there is a phone and it will have a battery, so the technology which is there, it's a chemical process. The whole power generation out of batteries, from big batteries to that cells and all that. Thousands of chemists are working on that one battery composition. That's the material used for the phone. Plastics, gold, silver, titanium, whatnot. And then combinations. What will be the life? Then the artificial intelligence. Surprisingly, there are phones today which are transparent. Both sides you can see too. Like this watches. Watches now, the back side is transparent. You can see the whole. Same they have started doing in this. Who are the people involved? Yeah, physicists are there, and then those engineers are there, fine. But there are chemists involved, thousands and thousands of them. Automobile industry, thousands and thousands of chemists are involved. And therefore the whole industrial spectrum is part of our okay. We will just wind up. This is the last. This was the last. After that, consciously I kept it open because it is for you to take a call. It is totally for you to. This is just an analysis from World Economic Forum. What are the fastest growing and what are things which are almost dead? Just one example: postal service clerks or in the bank or the teller people. Their activity is now minimum because ATMs are there and online payments and all that. So there would be a set of opportunities which were there 20 years back or 30 years back, which will be non-existent or minuscule. There will be another set of things which were never there, like renewable energy engineers, artificial intelligence, information security analysts. They were never there, which has started coming up. Open forum, there is no discussion. This is, and the last is to say thank you to all of you. It's been good. Please, when you go back